Welcome to episode 30.
That feels kind of epic.
That's pretty crazy.
Hey, that's how
30.
old I turned this weekend.
I mean, I guess technically...
10 years old now.
You're 30.
Yeah. He's halfway to 60.
You're welcome. You're halfway to 80. Chris is right in the middle.
Yeah. I'm almost to that 75 halfy.
There you go.
Be 35 this year.
So yeah, 30, which 26 I guess is technically a big one because that's half a year. We got to episode 26.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like when we get to that 52, because it's going to be kind of weird because we had that skip episode.
Are we gonna have to start season 2 it?
I don't know. How
Start over at 1.
I've been thinking about that. I was like, are we just going to be like, episode 500?
No,
What we'll do is we'll just periodically go to number 1.
We'll do like Marvel and have legacy numbers.
Yeah, we'll have legacy numbers.
every 20 episodes we're gonna start over.
Yep, there'll be a new story arc.
Yeah, this is the time for you to jump in. Unknown now.
Because our show is so cohesive, you'll be completely lost. No, you're going to be completely lost no matter when you listen.
Yep.
Just, that's how we roll.
What's up, Lazy Gamer?
So, not a whole lot in the news front.
Yeah.
There's just not a lot. Shows.
Shows have started. Comic Palooza apparently was a pretty good show. There was a lot of people there.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about comic shows. I'm talking about shows on television.
Shows on television are at a stall because it's the summertime.
Yeah.
It is summer, so that does mean a slower release. Yeah.
We do have stuff coming Disney Plus in the soon. We've got your normal fall releases for shows, but yeah, I mean,
What is it? What If is in a couple weeks?
August, yeah.
Yeah.
So cool thing about shows though, Black Widow did great in theaters.
Until it didn't.
Well, and I think all these movie theaters have a right to complain about the fact that the reason that they are not having any more movie is because everybody's like, oh, it was good. Yeah, I'll go ahead and spend that money on access.
Yep.
And
that's what we did.
Oh yeah. Instead of double and triple watching it in the theaters.
Yep.
What they're also saying is bad about this is there already is going to be that money on pay-per-view. So now that pay-per-view money is gone because people have already bought it on access. So overall, it's going to be a loss long term.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of a good way for Marvel and all these other companies to kind of test that and say, yeah, maybe it's not really.
Yeah.
Since we're kind of on the subject, what is the movie you've seen most in theaters?
Repeat?
Repeat.
Oh, good gosh.
I mean, it's gonna be a nerd movie.
I want to say I saw The Matrix 3 times, and I think that was big for me. I saw it 3 times when it came out in the theater.
I can't think. I think it's gonna be a Marvel movie or it's gonna be a Star Wars movie. It's gonna be one of those two.
Yeah, I probably saw Force Awakens
Okay.
3 times.
Yeah.
I saw Man of Steel 7 times.
Holy crap! I hated that movie.
You're
love that
also
movie.
one of those guys.
I love that movie.
I do like Man of Steel. I won't. I liked it.
I liked it up until the Zod fight.
Yeah. Well, you mean the end of the Zod fight?
Just the whole Zod fight.
Oh, okay.
The
Because
Zod
a lot
fight
of people
was
were like,
awesome.
"Oh, this is great." That's not my Superman.
Yeah. It was that last fight just slogged on forever and ever and ever. It just went on and on and on.
Not as long as was Transformers 5. Is that the one with Grimlock?
I haven't watched anything since the second Transformers.
Yeah.
Okay, you're not missing any.
I like the Transformers. Those are one and dones for me. I'm like, okay, I saw it because it's really cool to watch.
Check
but
the box.
Not so good to watch.
Yeah.
So
I can't think of a movie I've seen more than a couple to a few times.
Yeah.
In the theater.
Yeah, I mean, usually I go twice to a lot of the Marvel movies or a lot of movies in general, because I'll go watch it. Okay, yeah, the kids can watch it, and then I'll take the kids to watch it.
Yeah.
That's usually how that works for me.
Or I'd go watch it with y'all.
Yeah.
We'd do the midnight release, but my daughter couldn't go because she had school the next morning or something.
Yeah.
And then I'd come back later. So 2 times isn't unusual.
Yeah, I would say almost every Marvel movie I've seen twice, at least. Yeah. Gave them my money twice. The second time it was more money because I brought 3 other people with me.
My wife I still haven't been able to pin her down to watch. I got Black Widow on Disney Access.
Yeah.
My daughter and I watched it again.
Yeah, I've been wanting to.
But
I'm like, then I'm like, because I like having it on all of my apps.
yeah.
And when you buy it on Disney Access, it's only on Disney Plus. So I like to have it on Apple. I like to have it on my Vudu account. I like to have it on Google, whatever. It's on everything. I like to have it anywhere. So that's why I like buying the movies through that stuff. So
Yeah.
and that way I don't have to be tied to one platform.
No, it covers you when one of the services shuts down.
And well, there's that.
If I like it, if I like it enough to buy it, I'm probably still going to buy a disc.
Lazy Gamer watched Spawn 4 times.
What?
Whoa.
That was. I mean, at that time.
I wasn't old enough.
At that time, I knew it wasn't good. The soundtrack was great.
Yeah, I mean,
Soundtrack was fantastic.
For that, I mean,
I wasn't old enough to watch it in theaters.
I'm pretty
It was
sure
it was PG-13. It wasn't bad.
I don't know.
If I remember right.
I know
now,
that
the animated television show was definitely not.
Yeah.
that was adult.
Yeah,
I watch
very
Spawn all the time on DVD though.
The animated series?
No, the
movie?
both.
Yeah, I've seen the movie a couple times
so
since
bad.
then, and I think to myself, okay, it was way back then. You know,
This is the before Iron Man times
Yeah.
of movie superhero movies.
I mean, it was still a breakthrough kind of thing for that kind of the genre in general.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think. When the movie came out, the comic was probably, up to issue 50?
At
that point?
Spawn was 92. The movie was, 94 or 3? We said this the other day. I can't remember. So it was like 2 years.
No,
2 years.
The movie was like 97, if I remember right.
Okay, well, maybe I'm...
Because I was in high school when it came out because I bought the soundtrack. So
You saw it 4 times. When was it, Lazy Gamer?
Yeah.
Tell me your history.
Let's see here. 97.
Okay, there you go. So it had 5 years worth of comic books to feed into.
5 times 12 is 60.
About 60. So, yeah, 50, 60. So, because I remember, I had read up to like, I don't know, 25. Probably right after the first Angela appearance or something like that.
Yeah.
And
It's so weird that she's a Marvel character now.
right.
Her first appearance is like 9.
I
Is
was
it?
young.
Okay,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
It's been so long, I don't even remember. But yeah. So, yeah, no, I definitely didn't watch that I watched that once in the theaters. I'm pretty sure that was the last time I saw it because I'm like, this is trash. The animated show's better.
Well, and, I think for a lot of people, they probably hadn't seen the animated show.
Yeah.
So that was probably their first experience of Spawn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I've gone back and started watching some of the animated show, and I'm like, wow, this is intense.
It's intense. And
Yeah.
it was pretty good in,
Yeah.
I mean, animation and voice acting. It was really good for what it was.
Wow, Spawn is a gargoyle
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
because it's the same voice actor.
Was it Peter David or Keith David?
Yeah.
Damn.
He was the main gargoyle. And then you had like half the Star Trek Next Generation guys were also voice actors for the gargoyles, which was awesome.
Yep. I do remember that.
Yeah.
Yep. Riker and Troy
Yep.
were the.
And then the guy that played Data, I can't remember his name right off the bat.
Brent Spiner.
He did some stuff throughout the series as well. I mean, it was just
I watched it a little bit. I didn't watch it a whole lot.
yeah.
This year's the first year you can buy Spawn #1 in like 20 years.
Yeah. The first time. Spawn Universe #1. First ongoing series since Spawn.
Universe is not an ongoing. Universe is one shot.
No, yeah, sorry. It's
King
Spawn.
Spawn.
King Spawn will be the first ongoing Spawn series since 1992.
That's crazy. That is definitely not Marvel's model.
Yeah, it's weird, and I think he's done some other kind of stuff, like he did some crossovers.
Well, he did
and
some
things
crossovers.
like
He's
that.
done some miniseries and stuff.
Dark Ages and stuff like that. And,
Yeah, but he for your argument for ongoing series, he is the one guy that has done an ongoing series.
Yeah.
And he
Spawn's
will
the one.
not restart.
Spawn's the one image book that consistently comes out every month. Also,
Yeah, yeah,
without over
Yeah.
delays and
That's-
cancellations and
that's not true.
skip a month.
The cancellations maybe, but the delays are real.
we know all too well.
Trust me, I
Recently.
Yeah. I mean, basically from probably like since I started ordering Spawn around the 240s, all the way up to around 280s, so about 40 issues, they were pretty on time.
Mm-hmm.
And then it started getting close to 300, and Todd started taking back over, doing art,
Being more
part of the
directly involved
writing.
in it.
Yes, because he was creatively doing it, right? But he wasn't actually writing it. He wasn't doing any of the art. He wouldn't even have a variant. It was still Todd's book, but somebody else was taking care of it
Right.
for him.
Kind of like Stanley, was.
When he
Marvel.
started getting to that road to 300, the delays.
I don't know what
Started
it seems
coming.
like. There's been an awful, a ton of delays here recently.
Some of it's still COVID. And somebody told us the other day, we know Venom 35 ran out of paper.
Yeah.
And then I guess there's actual paper shortage now.
Well, I mean, if lumber's
yeah.
any indicator,
So, I mean, I don't know how true that is. Somebody just kind of said that to us the other day.
it could be paper mills or ordering less raw material
Yeah.
because of the cost, or can't order as much raw material, and so they can't produce as much.
Yeah,
I mean, I would think it'd be trickle. I heard lumber is getting better.
Yeah, it's gone down already.
Yeah.
All I know is since I've started the FOC ordering, I have not got an entire order in 1 week.
Yeah. Imagine being our pool staff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We try.
Yeah. We have a weekly email that goes out every week. Tells you
There
what's
you go.
delayed. You're welcome.
Well, you should still definitely do FOC. It is the best
Yep.
thing you could do.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, there's going to be 1 or 2 books that are going to be delayed longer, but for the most part, everything's within a week.
Yeah.
You know, it's not
Yeah.
like a huge
Venom
delay.
35 was an anomaly as
Yes.
far as what
Yeah.
happened with it.
Well, and it's either just a week or it's delayed a long
Yeah,
time.
it's like a week or, hey, 5 months from now, you're going to get your book. Like
Yeah.
Ronin, which was already been delayed multiple times, issue 4
Well, that
is being delayed
and
again. Another
Black
like 3
Panther, Nonstop Spider-Man.
weeks. Yeah. And some of these, like, I don't even know why. Because you know that they're going to have, like,
Well, especially
Nonstop
like the
Spider-Man.
last, or like the last Black Panther. I'm like, it's the last book. Just put it out.
Well, not only that, but now they have issue 1 delayed till November.
I didn't realize it was out that long.
Yeah. I'm like,
Wow.
why? Why? You know it's done.
Just put it out.
And not only that, you know, like for these books, you know, they probably always have, when they come into it, they probably have 3 or 4
the editor
issues set up.
the
Right.
editor just wanted to give in like moratorium on the story before
my
before the
thinking
relaunch
for
is.
issue 1 is there's some kind of Marvel announcement coming,
Okay.
and they're going to wait.
Yeah, I could see him doing that.
Kind of like King the Conqueror #1 is
Yeah,
coming
yeah,
up to
yeah.
order
Like
this week, and it's kind of a background story to
Like
come.
a possible
So-
announcement of a recast, maybe.
Well, or they're going to have an announcement for the Disney Plus show.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? There's going to
Wakanda
be
Forever.
something in there, and I think that's probably like, okay, we're going to wait
Yeah.
because it makes sense for our media.
Man, yeah, marketing has pull.
Because, you know, New Mutants #1 that came out 3 years ago when the movie was supposed to first come out, it was
Yeah.
all supposed to come out together. And the comic book came out, and then there was no movie for
Yeah.
3 years. So I think it's just one of those things where they're trying to make some of that stuff match up because people are going to see it and they're going, ooh, I wonder who this is. Oh, look, there's a new comic book coming out for that. So I think there's probably
Oh, yeah.
something coming in that.
That's just good marketing.
Yeah.
Period.
It makes sense, and it makes
yeah.
sense for a comic book store too, right? You want them to be excited and to come into your
Yep.
store and be able to find something, because if they can't, then they're going to be mad at you, and then
You
they're
can
never
better
going to come
just
back.
I would say-
set up a table outside the theater and have it on.
But
I would
don't
say it
market
makes sense for #1.
Yes.
Yeah.
If any book inside the run, don't do that
Yeah,
because
the 25th and 35th for Venom, that didn't make any sense.
yeah, that just screws up your like weekly buyers because they push it back so many times, and then the person trying to buy it has lost track of
Yeah.
when, and then forgets about the book and doesn't
Yeah.
buy it at all.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't really make a lot of sense for that, so that was kind of frustrating.
Well, speaking of delays,
Yeah. What's delayed now?
segue. No, this is what was delayed
And finally, it's happening?
is finally happening.
Wait. It's time.
It's time.
It's time, right? That's the big thing that came out of that trailer. It's time.
It's time. Yeah. So they released the full trailer for Dune.
So that's a
That was a long trailer.
That's a
Yeah.
hefty full trailer.
So the
That's
last
almost
one,
4 minutes.
Last one was just teaser, and what I think they can get away with it because the story is everybody knows
it's like
the story.
a 3-hour movie, right?
It's 3 hours, and it's only the first half of the book.
Holy.
It only takes place in the first half
They're
of the book.
like, Harry Potter, hold my beer.
Yeah, yeah. So
I guess you could say Hobbit. He made 3 movies out of 1 book. So
which I'm excited about because it's a large book
yeah.
too.
Well, you want to get as much of the meat
Yeah.
as you actually can out of one.
And that's where the David Lynch 84 movie fell. So I joke, like there are 2 types of nerds. There are nerds who have read Dune and there are nerds who haven't read Dune. And it's like it's like a 50-50 thing, right?
And they're the nerds that don't know they need to read Dune, and they probably
everybody should read Dune. If you are a fan
I'm
of
gonna work
science
on
fiction.
it. I'm gonna work on it.
It is
I didn't know.
Audiobooks are fine. The audiobooks are kind of weird.
I feel like audiobooks for older books, sometimes it's hard to find a good one.
Yeah, there's
like
only
they do a better
there's
job
only
on different
one
stuff.
there's only one unabridged version, and it technically is abridged because they mess with they kind of go in and out of being just a one voice narrated book to an audio drama. It's weird and it's inconsistent when
Yeah.
it does it.
Yeah.
And so like and so there's a little bit of abridgment because they kind of go into a radio drama.
Yeah.
And so you literally lose words, but you don't lose
The
plot.
context.
Sometimes I think the radio dramas are harder to listen to.
Yeah.
They can be. It just depends.
If the voice acting, if it's not very good, it's distracting.
I listened to all of the I Am Number 4 movie You know, it has a
Yeah.
whole series of Lorian books.
Okay.
And the first one's just one guy doing everything. And then like book 2, it's like, okay, now there's like 3 people doing it. It's the one guy stays throughout the whole series. But like throughout the whole series, there's all these different people coming
Different
in and
voices,
helping.
yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm so confused.
And I will say, like the radio drama format, it is nice having different voices for different characters because sometimes, especially if the dialogue is quick,
Yeah.
it helps you keep you pace. But it just depends. So no, I highly recommend anybody who's a sci-fi fan read Dune. I mean, it is like it set the tone for Game of Thrones. Like it was Game of Thrones before
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones was, you know, in just that more sci-fi fantasy setting. It was even if you just read Dune, right? You don't read everything, you know, Messiah and everything that came after it. By itself, it's just a good story. And in some cases, I think it holds up best just in a vacuum by itself when you don't know kind of what happens afterwards. But the gist of it is, for those that don't know, it was written by Frank Herbert, who was he was a newspaper writer out of Washington in 1965, and he had read like next to no science fiction throughout most of his life. When he started becoming a newspaper writer in the after he got back from World War II, you know, he kind of started reading like Robert Heinlein, which is Starship Troopers, and
That's hard to find an audiobook for.
Right.
You've listened to the ones they have. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, it's
you know,
terrible.
and so he started.
I can't do it.
He started reading H.G. Wells, and his criticism was Heinlein did to an extent, but Robert Heinlein. If you read Starship Troopers, it is a very conservative-leaning
Yeah.
book, right? There's a political angle, and Frank Herbert was like, "Well, I can do that," and so he spent like 5 years just researching everything up to Dune and stuff, and so basically, it's in the very far future.
Yep.
Computers are outlawed because there was basically a Terminator event.
There's an AI rising.
The AI, you know, took over and stuff, and they finally squashed that. And so what they found is there's this, they call it melange, it's spice, and it allows humans to have like super cognitive
Enhanced abilities.
abilities.
There we go.
And then it also allows for folding space to travel. So it's the most valuable thing in the world. And so instead of computers, they use humans called mentats to do all the computations, and they're on drugs.
So, again,
No, they don't use spice to be mentats. It's sappho juice.
so it's still kind of like, I feel like I'm feeling, this is where all this like Games Workshop stuff is like coming into. Like they took the
Like,
Dune and they
you got-
took the Starship Troopers.
You got to think a lot.
It's very. I mean, I would say that like the Horse Heresy is very similar.
Yeah.
That whole aesthetic.
So, and the gist is over time, there's an emperor and there's different houses, different great houses, and they're all vying for control. And so it's that political game, and then it's just a really good book, and I'm really excited. So they were going to make a movie in the 70s by an Italian director, Alejandro Jodorowsky. Trying to remember, I can't butcher his last name, and it never got made.
Yeah.
It never finished. There's a documentary about that movie never getting made because it was this whole big debacle. So, come 1984, David Lynch, he's famous for music videos and Mulholland Drive and all sorts of those weird art house kind of films. He ended up directing Dune, and that's the 1984 version that most people have seen, which is an okay movie.
Most people your age.
Most people my age have seen. It's on HBO Max. You can go watch it right now.
It's got Patrick Stewart and
It's got Patrick Stewart. It was.
Oh,
Here's the thing. You got
I love me
like
some Pat Stew. I'm gonna have to go watch it.
it had a lot of actors that at the time were
So this is right before. This is a decade before he started Star Trek. That's crazy.
no. So that came out in '84. Next Generation started in '87.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, Next Generation
That's crazy.
is older than you think.
Yeah. I mean I watched it in the '90s, but that was mostly
Yeah.
So
Patrick Stewart had been in Excalibur.
yeah.
I didn't realize he was in Excalibur. Okay.
Yeah, I can't remember who he is. I think he's is he his dad? No. That's somebody else. I can't remember.
Yeah. I know Ian McKellen gave Pat Steele a hard time when he was like, "You're gonna go do Star Trek." Because they've known each other.
How'd that work out for you?
decades and decades and decades. So.
Yeah. No, it was a good cast. They took a lot of liberties with the plot. Again, it's taking a very large book
Yep.
and squashing it into 1 hour and a half movie, and it's hard to do.
Yeah. Now speaking, saying that, I think a lot of these adaptations have done better as TV shows. So
Yeah.
Do you think that a movie's really going to do it justice, even though it looks like it's probably going to be 2 movies, or would you have rather seen it on the TV's side?
I don't know. Well, honestly, we'll have to wait and see.
Wait and see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll have to watch it and see how they do with it. Honestly, the '84 movie covers most. Well, sorry, let me back up. They did a TV series in 2000 on Sci-Fi. They did a miniseries for the first. They did one miniseries for the first book, and then they did another miniseries for the next 2 books, and it was good. It told the plot more coherently.
Yeah.
But it was made for television, so
Yeah.
budget wise,
It wasn't like
Also
Game of
Sci-Fi
Thrones
Channel.
budget.
yeah, it was. It was just this is pre Sharknado.
Yeah.
They hadn't jumped that shark yet.
Shark Week. Check it out.
but,
Discovery Plus right now.
But yeah, it was just for what it was good.
Yeah.
For the budget they had, they tried their best to tell the story. But like I said, still wasn't great. Like this one, if nothing else, it has the cast
Yeah.
to just like crush it. Freaking everybody and their dog is in this stinking movie.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Stellan Skarsgård,
Yep.
Dave Bautista,
Yeah.
which not like Dave Bautista, just like a high quality actor, but
I'll give it to him though. The last few movies I've seen, even like kind of the silly ones, he does a really good job.
I say he's a really good actor.
I think he's got some chops on him.
Yeah.
I think he's
plays
he's
goofy
getting it better
parts.
than he's getting it better than John Cena is. Faster, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah. Yeah.
I give it to him.
So we've got Jason Momoa,
Yep.
Josh Brolin,
Yep.
Oscar Isaacs.
Yeah. Which that beard is epic.
Yeah,
I'm
it is.
so jelly.
Got a pretty decent beard.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm not a man. I like to
Zendaya-
look at that. Yeah. Zendaya.
Zendaya's in it. Timothy Chalamet, whatever.
Yeah, and he's actually the top billed actor, I guess.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. Like
Yeah.
they showed that cast thing, and I was like, he's at the top.
He is the lead character. So Paul,
But
his
that
character.
doesn't mean he's top billing.
Yeah.
But he is.
Yeah, I think it's just because his character is so singular.
Yeah.
Much the protagonist. He is. He's the Kwisatz Haderach.
Yeah.
If you've seen the movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'm gonna find out. Don't spoil
the
it for me.
You've had. You've had 50 years.
No, the movie's not out yet. Okay,
The movie came out in '84, so
that
you
one
still
was
had
before birth. It doesn't count.
When did you start reading?
Pre-birth.
Pre-birth.
That's my argument.
Speaking of pre-birth, that's a thing in Dune.
Oh, okay. See, I'm spoiling it. I didn't even know. I have read it.
I'm excited. I'm excited to take it. Like,
What was your favorite part of the trailer that came out today? Because the first one, the teaser trailer was almost 2 minutes.
Oscar Isaac's beard.
Right? Yeah. I think the little joke where he's like, "Hey, you look like you got some muscles." Nah, just kidding.
Honestly, so one of the things that I didn't like about the original movie, and this is early on, so this isn't a huge plot spoiler, and the trailer kind of alludes to it, is, Paul's house, his family, land on Arrakis, which is the planet that's kind of central to the plot, and they get ambushed and almost annihilated.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to kill all of his family, so his bloodline's gone.
Yeah, it was a whole ruse.
Yeah.
Right. I think for the first time, like the original movie just like breezes up. Just gets to like within the first 20 minutes of the movie, you're already past that.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really set up what happened, why they're there, the relationship that Paul has with his mom, has with his dad, that his dad and mom have together, because they're not husband and wife. It's a weird deal. Don't worry about it.
Okay. It's Dune.
It's
Who
Dune.
cares?
It does set up a little bit of what is special about his mom. There's something special and vis-a-vis him. And but like I think what I'm most excited about is to finally be able to see how they kind of drill down into those gaps.
Yeah. It looks epic.
Yeah.
The fact that they put a 4-minute trailer out tells you there's going to be a lot of content you're not seeing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big trailer.
I'm expecting I haven't seen a final runtime, but I'm expecting a long movie.
Yeah, and this is only half the book.
So this is Denis Villeneuve. So this is the guy who did Blade Runner 2049.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you.
You know,
I still haven't
That's some
seen
hard watching.
Blade Runner can be slow. The first one and the last
I've
one.
watched all of it. It's just slow.
Yeah, 2049.
slow.
I had you watched the original one?
Yes.
Same deal.
Yeah. It's just.
Yeah, that's just its pacing.
It's not bad. It just takes forever to get there.
I think a lot of Blade Runner was because Blade Runner was really hearkening back to that like film noir from the 20s and 30s. You know, it's like a detective story, but it's set in that sci-fi cyberpunk
It's
future.
like you're watching Dick Tracy in
Yeah.
3000.
And so it's just got a unique pace to it. But he's done that. He also did.
So I hope it doesn't feel as slow as that.
What's the other movie he directed recently that he got all the credit for? It was the one with Amy Adams, and it was the aliens.
Oh, that was a good movie, but also
Arrival?
slow. Also slow.
Yeah.
But it was a good movie.
Yeah, I think, like I said, I think I would be ready for that pace at times.
Yeah.
And I think knowing his directional style and then knowing the book, of course, books are like that. Books
Yeah.
are plot.
Yeah, and you get
action,
the epic, and then
plot,
finally
plot.
you get the final epic, yeah.
So I would probably expect that from the movie, and that may be where the movie loses people. And that I think that was something they were trying to avoid in the original one, right?
Well,
No.
I even thought the original one was slow.
Yeah. Okay, it's been so long.
It's been a long time since
I
I've
say
seen
that.
it,
I
but-
think I watched it like
I
last year.
think I don't know, with as many big actors as he's got in this, that's probably going to help bring it along.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because, I mean, the cast is just outrageous. And I hope, because, there's been some other movies that have had some outrageous casts, and they just suck. So I really hope that's not the case for this one, because I have been excited about that.
Yeah.
And I have no idea what's out.
And I like the casting. I don't think reading the book. Now, I will say that I read the book after having watched the first movie. So when I read the book, I see Kyle MacLachlan and Patrick Stewart and
I think that
all them.
that can help visually, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
it's sometimes, depending on who the author is, they don't do a very good job of
But,
setting
like-
it up. So
but like Patrick Stewart's character is Josh Brolin's character.
he's the trainer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Gurney. He's kind of like the master at arms for
Yeah.
the house. And then you have so Jason Momoa is Duncan Idaho, who's like he's kind of like Paul's best friend. He was played by crap. I'm trying to remember who he was in the guy from Logan's Run, old sci-fi movie. If you haven't seen Logan's Run, it's the one where like you turn 30 and you have to be like put to sleep.
Now, Logan's Run was a comic book too, right?
They may have done a comic book
Because
on
that
it.
Logan's Run, I think, was like one of the first things that Thanos showed up in the comics. It's like a weird tie-in.
Possibly.
When he was arrested, and it was in that book.
Did he have a helicopter?
Yes.
Maybe. I don't know. Logan's Run's like a sci-fi. Like
Thanos'
it's a future.
first appearance in the comic books is in a really weird place. I may be completely wrong here, but
I thought his
think-
first appearance was in Iron Man.
No.
I thought.
Maybe his first Marvel appearance. I don't know. You have to look it up. But we had it at at Hobbs.
Yeah. But no, Logan's Run's it's a fun movie too.
I don't know. It's just ringing a
not good
bell.
movie.
I could be completely wrong, but that just rings a bell.
Yeah. So and then Kyle MacLachlan was.
You just type Logan's Run Thanos, like just put that together and see what pops up.
I just typed in Thanos' first appearance and came up with the Invincible Iron Man 55.
Yeah. Just put Logan's Run Thanos and see if anything comes up. It may not. Like I said, I could be completely wrong.
So I'm excited about it. I hope people read the books going into the movie because I think it'll make the movie easier to follow.
Here's an article from Comic Book Resources, how Logan's Run was responsible for Thanos' first solo story.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is.
It inspired his first solo story or something.
Logan's Run number 6.
So
Logan's Run is his first appearance is in Iron Man. His first solo story is in Logan's Run.
Logan's Run's not in the Marvel continuity.
It's so weird because he gets freaking
Logan's
arrested.
Run number
He gets
6.
arrested. Like cops are handcuffing him and putting him in a cop car.
Hold on.
At
weird.
Marvel Comics Group, Logan's Run number 6.
Yep. And I remember Marvel Comics for a long time did other stuff besides superhero books. They did all kinds of crazy stuff.
Well, yeah, they've always done like Conan and Red Sonja started out.
But even Conan right now is in the superhero realm.
Well, he wasn't originally.
But he wasn't. He wasn't back then.
Sure enough, Marvel Comics published a short-lived comic book series which adapted the movie story and briefly continued it beyond the book was canceled in issue number 7. But why the crap would Thanos be?
Do you see? Does it show him getting arrested by the cops?
No.
That's the funniest part of that. To me.
Hold on.
I think that's where the helicopter comes from too. Is Logan's Run. So
I'm gonna have to look this up later because this is
the helicopter from I think he crashes it or lands it or whatever. Then like the next panel, you see him arresting him and throwing him in the back of a cop car. So
yeah, that's definitely Logan's Run. I'm
Yeah.
damned.
so
Huh. Things I didn't know until today.
yeah.
I was today years old.
I
when
was
knew.
only I was only this much right.
Yeah.
So, but it's good. I was close enough.
No, I highly recommend if
Growing
y'all
my hair back.
y'all should read or listen to the book before it comes out in December.
Yeah.
December?
October.
October.
Like 2 months
No,
off. You really sucked there.
Spider-Man's my birthday.
Yeah,
Is it?
Spider-Man's December.
It's close to my birthday.
Yeah,
So-
I'm November. I think I've got a Doctor Strange is coming around my birthday.
I thought Doctor Strange was next year.
Yeah.
No. What is November? There's something.
Eternals.
Eternals. Yeah, Eternals is
Yeah.
November.
That's what I was gonna say.
I think at one
Shang-Chi,
point, at one
Eternals.
point, I think it was something else besides Eternals. It wasn't Doctor Strange because Doctor Strange was originally slated for a spring release way back
I
when.
don't know.
Okay. So Dune.
Dude,
Really cool. Okay, everyone. So at this point of the
speaking
show,
of helicopters,
speaking of helicopters,
Thanos
we are we're going to go into our Loki discussion. If you have not watched through Loki episode 6,
you even had an extra week this time.
yeah, we gave you extra time, but we're going to start spoiling the crap out of it and give our thoughts. You have been warned, and then we're done. So you're not going to miss anything if you tune out right now. So
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay.
Loki was, and now I was going to think of something cute to say that was just totally not right, but I had no joke. Like there was nothing actually in the chamber.
Did it end the way you thought it would?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think we all saw that. This was like one that everybody was.
I was going to be pissed if Kang didn't show up
Yeah.
in some form or fashion, even if it was just a brief kind of, not what is it? What do they call it when it's not a first appearance, but
A cameo.
yeah, just like if he at least didn't have
Kind of
some
like
form of cameo.
Thanos at the end of
Yeah.
Avengers, right?
If there wasn't something, I was going to
And
be
I
happy.
kind of figured that's what we were going to get. I didn't think we were going to get a full episode
No.
of King. That's crazy.
Well, what's cool is we didn't get Kang.
Yeah, that's not
We
Kang
got-
the Conqueror.
Yeah,
We got He Who Remains.
it's still King.
which is Franklin Richards.
Yeah.
He's just not Kang.
Yeah,
So I like it. I like the actor.
Yeah.
I hadn't watched Lovecraft Country, which is kind of the big thing that he's starring in right now, which apparently
I haven't watched it either.
Apparently didn't get picked up for season 2, but I heard like everybody loved it. I think it's the new Firefly.
it may be get picked up by somebody else. So that's
It
kind of
could
the
be.
thing nowadays.
Yeah.
like Netflix is like, oh, we'll do it.
Everybody except for Firefly. Nobody will still pick that up.
You know, I think it's still a rights thing. I think Disney has the rights to that now.
I think if Firefly had happened now, it probably would have got saved by a streaming service. But back in 2004,
Yeah.
there was just nobody to pick it up.
At
Yeah.
one point, what's his face? The main guy, going blank here.
Nathan Fillion?
Nathan Fillion. He was trying to buy it, but it was just too expensive.
Yeah.
He wanted the rights to keep doing it.
Yeah, it's sad. I mean,
Yeah.
at least we got closure with the movie. Most times you don't even get that.
Yeah, I guess.
Better than nothing.
Let's just kill people and be done with it. Whatever.
It's all right. He's a leaf on the wind. Whoops.
Yep. Back to Loki.
Back to Loki. Yeah, did you see all the theory videos about syncing it up to WandaVision?
Yeah, I've seen
Yeah.
those.
Which is total crap. It's just total coincidence. Like, there's no way 2 editors like sat in a room together and they're like, "Hey, you know what we should do?"
You know what would be really cool?
Yeah, they were just probably produced in a bubble. I think it's pure coincidence. I think it's cool. I think, and I watched New Rockstars did a video talking about it, that it's actually more likely that, you know, what we see in the post credits of WandaVision was affected by what was happening in Loki. But
Yeah, I think a lot of people think that time stream. She didn't actually have her kids still alive. Time
Yeah.
stream, they came back,
yeah, but here's
and
so
that's what she's hearing.
here's my other thing. Now we're gonna get quantum. We're gonna get out of the box here.
Because we already know Spider-Man is affected by it.
Again, here, hold on.
Right?
Just hold on.
Right?
Hold on. Let me go off here.
J. Jonah Jameson.
Technically, when the time stream breaks, when they're in the void and the time stream breaks, it technically happens at all times, all realities simultaneously. So there cannot be a moment where it happens. It just
Changes.
It just happened.
happened.
Which is what we see, right? He comes back, and they're all doing their business like TVA is normal, and Loki's
Well,
like,
I think that's just a different Kang's reality that he got shunted
correct.
into.
But I think it's just all this kind of stuff, right?
Like that's so they were trying to say that that moment in in the post credits of WandaVision that's when the reality broke. Well, technically there was no moment. There can't be a moment. It happened.
It's a paradox.
It's a paradox.
So the sacred timeline and the multiverse exist simultaneously, the entire continuity, but also they don't.
Yes,
Yeah. So now I think
it's like superposition.
Well, it all started still with Spider-Man. When you get to the end of that, and you're like, why is he back as J. Jonah Jameson?
Yeah.
And now we're starting to get answers to all this, right?
That does correlate to what's happening in 2024, right? Is that's
23.
23?
23, I think. I think it's 23. 22 or 23. I don't think it's quite 24 because it's 5 years from 2018.
Was it 18 or 19?
It was 18.
Endgame came out in 18?
Endgame came out in 19.
Infinity War came out in 18. That's right. It would be 18.
Yeah.
You're right. So 2023. Anyway.
That's a second hair flip of the day.
Poser.
I love that. Was my favorite part, especially when she was like, "That was disgusting." Oh man,
That feels gross.
Lazy Gamer gets that now, right? Because he's hopefully seen Black Widow
He's gone.
at this point.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's why I'm having a hard time, that there would never be a moment that all of a sudden the multiverse opens up inside of one of the timelines. It's just
going to
I don't
be different
know.
times. It's going to coexist, like you said. There's all these different branches.
Yeah.
It's all there.
It's like it's a Schrodinger cat kind of deal. They both exist at the same time,
Yeah.
always.
Yeah.
Until you look.
So now I will
Trek Mirror
I will
Universe.
acquiesce for plot purposes to tell a cohesive story.
Well, so
They may say that this was the moment, and then that's when
honestly,
everything broke
it
loose.
doesn't matter outside of the void. The only two characters that
Are
it
gonna
matters
remember it?
whether it's the multiverse or the timeline are the three characters in the Citadel.
Yeah.
Because they're the only three characters that can actually observe it.
Yeah.
yeah, they're going to be the only ones that, like as you saw, Loki was the only one
knows.
that remembers it.
Because they are
Well,
outside.
now too, because
Since they are outside of the timeline, they can actually observe it happening. So they're the only three characters that it actually matters.
yeah. So as far as Wanda's concerned, all of a sudden she's just able to hear it.
Yeah, as far as Wanda's concerned, it's always been a multiverse.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, so now we I guess we're waiting to find out what a correlation between a Nexus event is and what a Nexus being
And
is,
I
and
think
how do they interact? How are they different?
I think we're going to see Doctor Strange have an understanding of it.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be his whole story. His own movie is going to be
But here's the other
knowing something's bad
Yeah.
and what the crap just happened kind of a deal.
The other thing is if it's a full blown multiverse now, is there such thing as a nexus? Does it matter like it used to?
I think to the TVA it would, right?
I think
because they were still talking about that.
Yeah, I think Nexus events now are just going to be they're still happening. They're just not as uncommon as they were. Right? They're not as big a deal because
that's
now Nexus
well,
events are just happening.
But here's the thing: the whole it seems like that whole episode was about free will,
Yeah.
and now that there's free will, every decision any person makes is now a nexus event.
Yeah.
Every single decision.
Yeah.
So then that goes back to my question. So what is a Nexus being outside of that? So Nexus being,
Are there actual variants to go pick up?
well, that's what I'm thinking is a Nexus being has no variant.
Yeah.
They are a singular being that is the point of all these Nexus realities, which would validate Scarlet Witch's comic power set, where she can actually manipulate probability.
Yeah.
Because technically, how they've explained it is she can pick which reality to kind of steer into. She doesn't realize that's what she's doing. She just makes it happen. But so
I feel
being
like she would have been picked up from every possible reality because of that.
yeah, but so what it is this Scarlet Witch is the Nexus being for all realities,
Yeah.
regardless. So I don't know.
Be interesting to see where it goes with.
But we've got 3 movies that are going to delve into it at the very
And
least.
Not only that, what if is MCU canon? So it's going to be, I think, stuff branching off of.
So maybe the Watcher will kind of explain something.
Yeah, I think we're gonna get
That
a
or
little
What
more
If.
out of that series than we think we are.
And it may be that What If doesn't explain anything. They just show us all these realities, but don't explain how it all ties in.
Right.
Until later.
Yeah.
Then Scarlet Witch, Spider-Man, Ant-Man, Wasp kind of explain. Because that's the other thing is, were they in the quantum realm? Was the Void in the quantum realm? Is that because technically we thought we've seen Chronopolis
Yep.
and the Citadel before in the quantum realm, and we know Kang's in Quantum Mania.
Yeah, we'll see.
How does that all play in?
Yeah,
you
well,
know?
I mean, it's gonna be an interesting. I mean, it's cool because in a way, everybody was freaking out about all these actors leaving, and how are they going to keep us excited? And I mean, they're doing a great job so far.
I have seen where, originally the theory was Kang is the new Thanos, right?
Yeah.
But I have seen a theory where
He's probably the new Loki.
he's the new Loki level villain.
He's going to be around for a while.
He's gonna be around for a
versions
while,
of him,
but
right?
I think he's both.
he's gonna be the big villain for the first team up of this set of phases.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Where they're in that team up, they will introduce the
young Kang.
actual big one being it.
The Conqueror. Yeah.
Well, not even the Conqueror, but like just a bigger villain, Galactus or
Oh, I see what you're
Doom
saying.
or somebody.
Yeah. And that's the thing is now we have the ability for Franklin Richards to be both a hero and a villain at the same time.
yeah. Especially if they use the younger version to go back and
Yeah.
be the young Avenger.
Yeah, Iron Lad.
who manned that team, which is kind of weird because I feel like we already have an Iron Lad, but whatever. I mean, I
Yeah.
guess we can have two, whatever.
I mean, we could have an infinite number technically.
Yeah. Now
We're off the rails now, boys.
it's all good. Yeah. Where's Wolverine?
Loki just broke the MCU. Or Sylvie did.
There's been a lot of that uptick about Wolverine actually showing up, or Hugh Jackman's Wolverine actually showing up.
I have
in
seen
Deadpool.
that where
So,
he I guess he met with Kevin Feige.
Kevin Feige, and of course, we already know Deadpool 3's coming. So
Yeah. Technically, he's in the MCU now.
Yeah.
I could see the only Hugh Jackman appearance being in Deadpool. I don't
Yeah.
see them using him in MCU canon. You know what I mean?
It'd just be a fun nod type thing.
Yeah, and
I could
it's
see
just
it-
that thing. Hugh Jackman said he would only ever become Wolverine again if it was Disney. It's Disney, so
They could do an old man Logan, old man Cap team up.
Or I mean, I don't know. I just see it. I know that they've been, there's been showing castings again of other people being Wolverine again. So I don't know. We'll see. I don't know how they're going to get to the mutants, but eventually they will.
I think I'm kind of the mindset now.
They
that,
already did. Ursa Major was in
yeah.
Black Widow.
Yeah, the bear, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I honestly I think mutants they're holding for Phase 5.
yeah. Well, I mean, Phase 4 is just 2 movies in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does Phase 4 take us all the way to Fantastic Four? Is that the
don't-
last slated movie?
Don't really know.
They don't
Fantastic
know.
4 is not even. It's just said. There's not even anything on it.
Yeah.
It's
No,
just,
there's
something. for
but it's
Fantastic
it's
Four.
the very last title that they've given us in the future lineup of movies. Is
No.
I mean, the thing about Fantastic Four is it could be in 2 movies from now. I mean, they've literally given us no details except for a logo.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
it could be the last movie, or it could be the 3rd movie, or it could be we have no idea.
Yes, Fantastic Four was announced when they
It's been several months.
yeah
since they
when
announced it.
they did the investor meeting.
Yeah, the big thing last year.
All they did was show the
This year.
4.
It was early this year.
Yeah,
They
they went through
literally-
all the movies that they were going to be doing, all the new Disney Plus stuff, and
Yeah.
then at the very end, Kevin Feige just was like, "And this,"
and
there
there's
was a big F.
4.
Yeah.
Yep.
No casting, no. There's been absolutely zero,
No plot.
nothing.
Nada.
Just knowing that it's coming.
I mean, technically we still don't know what the Eternals is about. Really.
That's because nobody,
Nobody reads it.
everybody knows. I guess Thanos was a cousin of somebody.
yeah. Oy, oy, oy.
Yep.
So yeah, no, I think Loki was great. Of course, we have another season of Loki coming.
Yep. And it said Loki, and not. So I'm guessing it's going to be for sure Tom Hiddleston coming back. Which again, we saw that he's going to come out and said he'll be a Loki forever.
He spoiled it for himself.
Yeah.
He said in a recent press conference, he said when he was on his birthday, he remembered being in the Loki suit filming, which his birthday was early this year. They would have been wrapped with filming for the Loki series at that point. So he's in something.
So they're already putting him in.
Well,
Well,
he's going to be in Doctor Strange. That's the big thing everybody thinks. He's going to be in Doctor Strange, which makes sense.
I mean, yeah, he very well could just be cameoing something.
I would think that everybody we've seen in a Disney Plus show this year is going to be
Yeah.
in Doctor Strange. It's going to be like Civil War, and it may be Doctor Strange's movie, but it's a Marvel event.
Yeah.
Darcy and Wu better be in it.
Yeah, I think that may be kind of how we start seeing this. Is you're going to have your Disney Plus shows be like your character shows, and then the movies, even though they may be specifically titled for a person,
It's like a
they're
crossover.
they're the events.
Yeah.
yeah.
So, which I think is cool. I think that's great.
I mean, I would rather do it that way than wait 13 years to get to the big crossover movie.
Yeah, right. I mean, it makes so much more sense, and you get all that character development out of the way, so you just go watch the movie.
We only waited 4 years for the first crossover movie. It was only 4 years
Well-
from Iron Man to Avengers.
Yeah, but the whole time we knew that Thanos was coming in. It took us 13 years to get to Thanos.
Josh
Yeah.
Brolin's like, I'm getting old, boys.
Actually, they filmed all of his parts
Yeah,
20 years ago.
I think he's like, wait, I gotta feel young again. I'm gonna have a baby, and he did.
Yeah. He's been getting a lot of. He's coming up in his nerd stock.
Yeah,
I mean, how do you top Goonies though? You don't.
you don't.
So, yeah. So that's. What were y'all's thoughts on Loki? Comment, everything.
Yeah. I thought it was great. I'm really curious to see where
Yeah.
they're gonna go with Sylvie. Since we didn't get anything with her, we have no idea where the TVA lady went. I think she went to go find another King or Kong. I think she went. She knew exactly where to go to find another version of him. I think that's where she went
Yeah.
because he told her specifically where to go.
I think she knew more than.
I think she knew more than anybody else in the TVA, but I don't think she knew everything.
I don't think she knew about him.
Yeah.
like that. So she probably got a whole lot of like stuff to read, and then she was like, "Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go find out and find this
Yeah.
guy." I think she went to him,
Yeah. And
In a
there were some other weird things like.
either him
If-
specifically that was there in his first timeline, or another version of
Yeah,
him.
like one thing that's kind of hanging out there that I haven't quite wrapped my head around is if he had this grand plan for either one of the Lokis to kill him or
Take over for
take
him.
over, why did he try to bargain with him when they first got to the Citadel? Like,
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just one of those kind of he's crazy at this point.
Yeah,
but he
I
also
see
did
that.
say he got to a point where he didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah, he did.
but you saw it when that happened. That
Yeah, you
wasn't
could see that.
that wasn't before.
But he also knew that he was going to get to that point where
Yeah.
he wasn't going to know
I
anything.
like when he had the Inception moment where he dropped whatever he was holding just to see how it would fall.
Yeah,
And for the first time, he didn't know how it was going to
you
land.
just kind of see that.
And he's like, "Oh, yeah,
It's time.
yeah."
Yeah,
I don't know.
I
What's
did think it was interesting how he didn't care what happened because,
I mean, he'd been alone for.
well, no, because either they were going to kill him and start the multiverse, which would cause him to just
win again.
win again,
Yeah,
or they would take over and he could. Either way, he won.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. He was pretty pragmatic about the whole thing. But now it's the devil you don't know is worse than the devil you know. Mm-hmm. So he who remains is gone, and now
some
the,
version
the,
of
the
somebody's
illusion
coming.
is the conqueror is coming now.
Some version of something.
yeah, that this king will be worse.
We know
So-
that there's still a Nova movie coming at some point. They left that wide open because they didn't show us how he got that.
Have they announced Nova, or is it just teasing?
That's just been teasing, but they left that wide open because they didn't show us how he got that gem, how he got the stone. All they said was the Nova Corps was destroyed and he has the stone from him. That was right
What?
before. That was right before he took it from Asgard before he killed Loki. He shows up and he
Oh.
talks about how they destroyed all of the Nova Corps.
Yeah, that they destroyed Xandar.
So I think that's still left wide open for them to go back, and Kevin Feige did say there's going to be more prequels. I think
Yeah.
that's going to be one of the things we see. We're going to actually see that happen, and we're going to see how he becomes Nova. Right?
Yeah,
And I don't know if they're going to use Sam, but I hope they don't use Sam. I hope they
use Richard.
use Richard. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that also teed up why Captain Marvel was off planet for as long as she was.
Yeah. So I think we'll see another. I don't know exactly what we'll see in the Marvels,
Yeah,
but I mean, it's gonna. I don't see that being a prequel with them calling it that. And they're about to have Kamala Khan.
no, because if Monica Rambeau's
Her
in
and
it,
Monica Rambeau.
Yeah.
So that's going to have to be something after that.
yeah, it's going to have to be after present day.
So,
So
Well, we'll see. I mean, I'm curious. Guardians of the Galaxy's come in. Space stuff. It's all. Silver Surfer doesn't come in here. I mean, there's still so many.
We won't get Silver Surfer until we get Galactus. Probably.
Yeah. I mean, you're gonna have that.
They're kind of part and parcel.
So, of course, mutants.
Mutants. We're waiting. One day we'll get some form of mutants.
Mutan.
And then we're all going to hate how the MCU brought it in, and then all the comics are going to calibrate to it, and then I'm going to hate the X-Men. No.
There'll be a Krakoa.
It wouldn't surprise me if that's where they start.
I mean,
Just to keep everything in.
Depends on what they're doing in the comics at the time.
Yeah, it depends on if Krakoa lasts that long.
what's going to happen is
in
you're
the
going to have all
comics.
the Marvels. The externals come from Jupiter, right? And then they're going to be like, oh, did we just pass the mutants on Mars?
Right? Yeah, they're living on the backside of Mars. You
Yeah.
know? Don't you have robots up there?
Dark Side of the Moon. Oh, that's Transformers.
That was the Dark Side of the Moon was the Inhumans.
Oh, Transformers.
No, they were the blue side, which I don't know where the hell the blue side of the moon is. The High Evolutionary had a
The blue side is the side you can't see, okay?
that's the dark side,
Because
black.
that's where they were at.
Yeah.
Terrible.
I guess
TV show.
that is the dark side of the moon. All right, guys, episode 30 in the books.
Yep. Hey, Miko Suwine will be here
Yeah,
in a couple weeks.
we told them that if they left, they wouldn't miss anything, and we totally didn't talk about that before we
okay.
told people to leave.
It's fine. They can rewatch it.
Miko Suwine will be here in a couple weeks.
Yep, that'd be cool.
That's all I got on that.
all we-
When he lands on the ground, we'll tell you more.
Yep,
When he's on American soil, kissing the soil because he landed, because he's probably been on a plane for like 14
and
hours.
he'll be with us at MegaCon,
Yep. MegaCon. He'll be with us next week at GalaxyCon as well.
GalaxyCon. Yeah.
Here in the store, also.
Yeah, here in the store in 2 weeks.
Carolina to Texas to Florida. That's a bing, bang, boom.
Yeah, and then every time he travels, he actually goes back in time, so it's kind of crazy.
Oh, he crosses the date line.
Yeah. He goes back in time, so he's a time traveler. Every
teleports
time
back.
he comes.
Now he loses time coming here though.
Yeah.
That's a long plane flight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, no, it's yesterday. No, what day is it?
His eyes cross.
And I swear, every time we have him at any event, he has a book due for us, a cover, and I'm like, hey, you got that done? He's like, no, I'm still working on it. I'm like, dude, you need to get that done.
You don't eat.
I was like, we're not allowed to talk about it, but you need to work on that.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us, and we will see you next time on the Unknown Comics Podcast.
Bye.
Bye.